Hello, everybody. This is Jeff Morton, your host. Let's talk about it. On Spotify, it's called the Let's Talk About You podcast. And I'm also on Podbean for the audio versions of these. I post those afterwards. This month of April, because of what I have really been doing a deep dive in, I'm spending the entire month of April talking about these patches. They're called LIFEWAVE. That's not really good to see. No, that's not really picking up very good. But those of you who know me know that I've been learning about these patches since January. I was doing something else completely different from this, frequency, quantum physics, all that kind of stuff. But I began to realize the LIFEWAVE patches are probably a modern day miraculous invention. A gentleman by the name of David Schmidt, he kind of went through this whole process. He started doing these things, learning about all this and developing this for the SEALs team, for the United States government. And it's turned into something that I consider to be really miraculous. And so today we're going to be talking with a new friend. Her name is Marci Preble. And she's been involved with LIFEWAVE for a very long time, but she's going to tell her story as to how and why she got involved and how this has helped her. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm going to just let her come on. And Marci, come on in and thank you for doing the program. I'm so excited. I listened to one of your videos about your testimony. It was pretty short, pretty brief, but apparently it's really amazing. And so welcome to Let's Talk About It. And that's exactly what I'm here to ask you to do, is to talk about you, give the audience a little bit of background, and then the show belongs to you. So
wow.
Thank you for coming on board today.
Well, Jeff, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to talk about LIFEWAVE, our light technology that's really changing lives. And, I would love for you to show, the first slide, because I'd like that first slide to go into the second slide, which is my story. So let's go ahead. So this is LIFEWAVE. It's a form of phototherapy. It's actually light making change in the body. Kind of like, it's a big word. It's called photobiomodulation, or light making change in the body. But it's simple. These patches reflect your own light to make change in the body. Much like when you go out into the sun, Jeff. Have you ever been out in the sun when you're sad and all of a sudden you're happy?
Yeah, actually, yeah. My wife, right? Number one, absolutely.
Absolutely. Why do you think that is? Because you and light are making vitamin D together in 20 minutes. And it turns out that our bodies, our cells, and light just love each other. And so what this patch does, this is a form of wearable light that makes change in your body. And that's what's so special. But I didn't understand any of it 6 years ago, because 6 years ago, this is what I look like. Let's show the next slide. Can we show it? Oh my goodness. Can you even believe that, Jeff? That's me in 2019. Well, actually in 2018, I was diagnosed with, I'm just going to say, because we're on the podcast and I need to be compliant, but hopefully people understand what this means. Fast growing cells of the breast, stage 3. Can we all understand what that means? Because I do not cure, treat, diagnose any disease. And I sure don't want to have, anything going on there. But I would hope you all would know what that means. Basically, you're looking in the mirror and there's a lump coming out of your breast like this big of fast growing cells. I think we all can figure that out, right? So that is what I had. Honestly, Jeff, I was devastated. I did not see it coming, literally, when I took my shirt off and saw a lump that big. And I was really scared. So I went to the doctor and I did a year of chemo, radiation, a double mastectomy, and they even cut half of my lymph system out. And that's what it left me looking like in 2019. Can you even imagine? No eyebrows, my face full of steroids. And the only reason I had some hair is because I wore something called a cold cap, which is like wearing ice on your head like 7 hours a day. Anyway, pretty awful. But you know what? After it was done, I'm like, I know I look bad, but I know that now that I'm done with all of those fast growing cells, I'll be fine and I can get my body back. Well, it was about when that picture was taken that I got a call from my oncologist. And he said, Marci, I'm so sorry, but you're in the 1% of people where it came back under the skin already. That was 6 months after treatment. Literally, I didn't know if I could do it again, Jeff. Like I literally didn't think I had it in me because the first time around was so rough. And that's when my friend, Dr. Rhonda Donahue, she's a regenerative doctor in Costa Mesa, California. I live in Mission Viejo, California. So we're
know it well.
You know that area? We're Southern California, girl.
Yeah, I lived in San Diego during the Navy days for a number of years. So I know the area very well.
So I'm halfway between San Diego and LA.
Yes,
yep, you know that. The 5 to the 405. I drive that all the time. So anyway, my girlfriend in Costa Mesa, she's been a regenerative doctor for 30 years and my friend for 15. So she came knocking on my door and she said, Marci, we in regenerative medicine have been studying light, peptides, and stem cells. And I found a technology that I think will regenerate you. And she showed me, I don't know if you can see this little patch, this little tiny of what it looks like to me, a little tiny bit of nothing, right? That's what it looks like. Right. And she said, and I'll tell you more about the story in a minute, but she said, Marci, wear it. And you know what? I started wearing it 6 years ago and I did regenerate. I would say if you look at those pictures, the only thing that looks the same on me are my glasses. And you know what? I got a new pair of glasses in 2023 and they're the same ones I have on today because I don't like change much. But anyway, we can go back to the story. So I do want you all to know that it's now been, I can't even believe it. It's already 2025 and I've been back in remission for 5 years. And it feels really, really good to be alive. So is it okay if I tell you a little more about what she told me about these little patches, Jeff?
Absolutely, please.
So she comes knocking on my door and she brings me, honestly, Jeff, she brings me 10 of these. Like she literally has them in her hand like this. You see that? She brought me a little handful. And you know what? She brought me a gift. That's why I like to gift, because I don't know, had she not gifted me, if the patch would have found me. I really don't know. So she opens it up like this and she goes, Marci, it's sticky like this. It sticks on you like this. And I said, Dr. Rhonda, with all due respects, I'm dying here. And you're bringing me a Band-Aid. Like, isn't that what it looks like? Like I said, a little bit of nothing, a Band-Aid. It does, right?
That's crazy.
I know. And she goes, oh, Marci, it's so much more. And she opens it up again. And she says, you see that white material? That's organic crystal. And it's made up of amino acid, sugar, salt, water, and oxygen. And it forms a perfect lattice, which is a reflector of light. I said, a reflector of light? Whose light? I mean, I just didn't get it, Jeff. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a mom, right? And she goes, your light. She goes, you see, we radiate a low-grade infrared light off our bodies. She goes, we know it's true because we've seen the military guys with their night vision goggles. You know, what are they looking at? She said, they're looking at your light at night. She says, this is just a form of wearable light technology that happens to have a 20-year patent. And it reflects your own light to make change in the body. That's where I said that big word early on, photobiomodulation, or light making change in the body. And what she says that this patch does, which is kind of incredible, is she says that this patch actually, through light in a non-invasive, non-transdermal way, elevates peptides or apeptides, actually the holy grail of peptides. And honestly, Jeff, I don't know what that is either. So I said, peptide, right? Would you? I mean, I don't know.
I didn't know.
Right? And I go, well, I go, what's a peptide? And she goes, oh, peptides, they're really good for you. We have been injecting peptides in people's stomachs. Can you imagine? And the more healthy peptides you have in your body, the healthier you are. She goes, but we in regenerative medicine have just figured out how to elevate it in a non-transdermal, non-invasive way. And here's what she said. She says all the peptides are special, but GHK copper peptide is the holy grail. It's like the big daddy, right? And I'm like, well, what does that mean? And she goes, well, GHK copper peptide, basically, the light, basically, X39 basically reflects your own light. And X39 uses light to elevate this peptide, GHK copper peptide. And this is known to support overall health. And I'm going to tell you something amazing. David Schmidt invested. This is the owner of the company, owner, creator, CEO. I'll tell you a little more about him in a minute. But he invested 10 years into stem cell research, which resulted in over 70 patents. So this man is so smart. But let's get back to GHK. So I'm like, well, what? I didn't understand GHK. What does that mean? So I said, well, okay, this patch elevates GHK to support overall health and wellness. But what does that mean? And she got me with this, Jeff. She said, when you elevate GHK copper peptide, it acts like a telephone to your stem cells. And it tells your stem cells to start working again like they did when you were 10 to repair and regenerate you. Can you imagine having your stem cells working again like they did when we were 10? That's, by the way, why your hair is turning black again, right? And why like your bald spots filling in, because you're regenerating again like you're 10, Jeff.
That is amazing to me. It's not growing in gray. It's growing in dark brown like it was when I was a kid.
Yeah, that's because, Jeff, do you mind me asking how old you are?
I'll be 66 in August.
Okay, so Jeff, you're 66 going on 10.
I know. Yeah, this has blew my mind. Yeah, it's incredible.
Really?
It's really, truly amazing. I did, when I showed my wife, she goes, wow, how's that? What's going on? I said, it has to do with this little Band-Aid.
You see, anyway. You called it a Band-Aid too. I love that.
Yes.
I mean, it's almost like it's too good to be true, or you can't, I couldn't really believe it, but whatever. I'm just learning, and this is 6 years ago. So here's what she says. She says that when you have this new young stem cell army marching in you, right? She says stem cells are the only cells in the body that are changeable. So they can change into whatever cell your body needs for repair. And the army starts marching and marching and repairing and repairing. And that's why when you're young, you don't have any issues, right? Because you're young, your stem cells are working. And so when our stem cells start working like they're young again, we get to reverse all those age-related issues. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know what they are for you or what they are for, folks in the audience, but you know what? Your body knows, and the stem cells know, and your stem cells know, and the army starts marching and marching and marching and repairing and fixing and fixing. David Schmidt, the owner of the company, says, give 1 month for every decade you are old. So I'm 60 now. So how many months do I got to get the army rocking?
6.
6, yeah. And I'll show those other pictures in just a minute, but I got a couple other things I want to tell you about. So 6. So I'm starting to get all of this, Jeff, but I'm still not totally, sure of it. So I said, Rhonda, why do I need young stem cells? And she says, now, how old are you again? And I told her I'm 60. And you know what she said to me, Jeff?
Please do tell me. I'm having a little
Are you dying to know right now?
I'm trying to figure out this as well as listening to you, but what did she tell you?
You're doing so good. You'll just have to roll with me. Once I get started, watch out. Off she goes. So here's the deal. You know what? She told me, when I told her I was 60, she told me I was old. That was such a bummer. But she said by age 30, you've lost half your stem cells. They're not dead. They just go dormant. And by age 60, you've lost all your stem cells. They're not dead. They go dormant. That's you and me. Our stem cells are all dormant. She says what X39 does, because when you elevate GHK copper peptide, you get that army working just like it did when it's 10. So those stem cells in my body that were dormant are now working like I'm 10 years old again. And I just think that's so cool. And I was still trying to understand more. So she gave me another example. And I love this. Jeff, do you have kids?
I have 4 kids. They're all adults. My youngest is 33 or 32.
Do you have grandkids?
I have 7. Yes.
Okay, so you're going to get this. You ready? This is for you. Okay. She said this to me, Jeff. When an egg and a sperm meet, what do you have? Stem cells. They made our babies and our grandbabies. She said they are what make every cell of a baby. What do I mean by that? Right. Well, stem cells go and they first go, okay, we're going to make the baby's brain. And then they say, oh, these stem cells are going to go make the heart. And these stem cells are going to make the liver. And it's stem cells is that they change and make everything. Babies born, stem cells downregulate. They can't make another head, but you know what they do? They protect and regenerate that baby all the way to age 30. And you know better than most. Let's go to your grandbabies because they're more new babies. Do you remember how soft their little skin is? Their feet, their hair, their toes, how fresh they smell. They're just one big regeneration. So now let's fast forward to age 20, or better yet, let's you and me go back to age 20. Do you remember? You got it? And the audience, come with me. I love it when people go on a journey with me. Let's go back to age 20. Do you remember what it was like when we were 20?
I do. It was like yesterday.
You do? Okay. Okay. I want to know, like, just 3 things when you were 20 that you were doing. Like, can you give me an example of what your 20s were like?
I was in the Navy living in San Diego.
And I bet you were like 20, big, buff, Navy, working out every day.
Had a lot of hair.
Had a lot of hair, 6 a.m. You're going to the gym, then you're going to work, and then you're going out with your friends. Does that ring a bell?
Well, I didn't go to the gym, but I did go out with my friends.
But you know what? So when I was 20, I went to college at U of O. I'm from Oregon originally. And I went to college all morning. Then I worked as a waitress to pay for it all night. And then I went dancing with my friends at night. And I just did this over and over and over again, much like you were probably working and doing your job. You were in San Diego, hanging out with your friends, like, going full steam at age 20. We didn't even think about it, right? Because we were 20.
About it.
Right. Yeah. That's just what we were, because we were young and we had our stem cells and we had no age-related issues. Remember? All the purpose, passion, energy, all that drive. We were 20. Okay. You know what happens? Here's the problem. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110. Our stem cells go dormant. They stop working. And now we get age-related issues. And I'm going to name some that I can, because I think men and women's issues are different. Are you ready? Should we name the women's issues or the men's issues first?
Yeah, I'll let you. You talk about it.
Okay, I'm going to go with the men's issues first, because you're here and you're a man, and you can tell me how many resonate with you. Men seem to have cartilage issues in their shoulders and their knees. They always go out, or gout in their toe, or they have that lower back pain, kind of nervy numbness all the way down to the feet. They have high blood pressure, high sugar, high cholesterol. Men. Women, we're not great. We have total pain in our hands. We can't pick up things. We have low energy. We get brain fog. Oh, the hot flashes. Who thought that was a good idea? We get waists that expand and we don't even know what the kind of fat is anymore. We also get high blood pressure, high sugar, high cholesterol. You guys also lose your hair and we both go gray. How do you like that?
Yeah, that's pretty much, you just summed up me and my wife perfectly.
It's no good.
No, it's not fun.
So you know what Rhonda said? She goes, what if you wear this patch and you would just reverse all of it? Would you? You know what? I put my hands out like a little bird, Jeff, like a little bird. And I said, I'll take all 10. And she said, okay. And I did. And I wore them. I wore them. She told me to wear it right below the back of my neck or under my belly button. But your whole body's light, so any spot will do, she said. In fact, one time someone asked David, the owner of the company, where to put the patch. And you know what he said? On the body. So you can put it anywhere. I like to say, pop the spot with a lot. What do I mean? If you got a bad shoulder, you can put it there. If you got a bad neck, put it there. If you got a lower back that hurts, put it there. Put it on your knee. Put it anywhere. Just take care of your spot. Okay, I'll give you an example. My mom, the reason, my life is a little hectic right now because I'm in Oregon helping my mother recover from a hip replacement. And so that's what we've been doing. And all the recovery now are necks out. Oh, and it hurts. So you know what I did? I popped the spot with a lot. X39, which is stem cell, 2 eons to reduce inflammation, and 2 ice waves to give her fast pain relief. Boom, right there on her neck. Then I put an infrared light heating pad over it. That's cool too. And we're just going to see if we can get to it, right? So that's an example. But anyway, so let's see, where was I? So this is what she said. She said there's only one rule: 12 hours on to activate and repair and 12 hours off. Why? Because we're light. And if you wear this 24 hours over and over again, your body gets used to the signal and it doesn't work so well. So just 12 hours on to activate and repair and 12 hours off. And so what I did when I got my 10 is I actually wore mine right below the back of my neck. I wore it 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then I took it off, threw it in the garbage. And then I gave my body a rest from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And then at 7 a.m., I went in and I got my next one out and I put it on. Well, here's the crazy thing that happened to me. Honestly, I had this patch right below the back of my neck. And remember, Jeff, I'm thinking this is a little bit of nothing 6 years ago. I had no idea. I was laughing because of the size. Well, my husband and I are in Oregon going to my girlfriend's daughter's wedding. And remember, I had a year of chemo. And that day, I remember looking at I remember looking at my husband going, oh my gosh, I can taste chemo metal coming out of my mouth. This is so gross. What's going on? Like, I haven't had this before. And then I went like that. I go, do you think that little patch could be detoxing all that metal out of my mouth? And I looked at him and I said, man, I don't know if I can handle this. This is so gross. However, here's the deal. Better out than in. So I told my husband, okay, I'll do it again tomorrow. And I did. And it was just as gross day 2. But by day 3, it was all gone. In 2 days, X39 took all that toxic material out of my body. That's kind of amazing.
You know, I'm sitting here. If I could just throw this in here. You did chemo. This is after double mastectomy, and then they resurfaced, and you did chemo for a whole year?
Well, I did chemo for 9 months. I did a double mastectomy. I did radiation, and they cut my right lymphatic system out. Then after doing all of that, 6 months later, it came back under my skin. So I was one of those unlucky people where I had some more come back after doing all the treatment.
So this is now 6 months later when you were introduced to the patch?
Yes.
I'm just trying to track with you, so whoever's listening can get the clarity on that.
So I did all the treatment. 6 months later, it came back, and that's when Dr. Rhonda came to my house because she knew I was freaking out. Yeah.
That's incredible.
I know, right? What a story, right?
As a cancer survivor myself, fortunately, I didn't have to do any chemo, and I refused the radiation. But and they told me what the radiation would be like gradually. So that must have been a living hell for you, Marci.
Yeah, I didn't know that you suffered too, Jeff. Do you mind? I know we're taking this off a little bit, but what do you mind me asking?
Yeah, I had a lump in my neck one day. I was shaving, and I went, "Whoa, what is that?" And it was deep. And what it turned out to be was squamous cell carcinoma interior of the throat.
Yeah, I know that.
And it turned out to be wrapped around, one of the lymph nodes was wrapped around my jugular. It was collecting the waste. But when it's in your throat, it's automatically elevated to stage 4 because that's where most of your blood flows. Anyway, surgery took care of that, and I started doing alternative everything, which is why we know each other today.
So you basically got margins, you cut it out, and you didn't do chemo or radiation, and then you went natural, and never. How long ago was that?
They don't do chemo when it's in the throat. I was
only radiation.
Only radiation. They told me it would be brutally painful, and of course I'm a big scaredy cat. But they said you had a 30% chance of it coming back versus 70. If I didn't do the chemo or the radiation, so I said 30%, I'll take it. But they did cut it out. They found in the pathology report a few days later that it was in my tonsils, but it had started destroying my vocal cords. So they did all these laser cuts down my throat looking for it. And eventually they never found it. So we found out later on, and they said, okay, we're going to monitor you for 5 years. I went to a natural plant-based diet for quite a few years until I got tired of that. But it has not resurfaced, and I've been doing other things, other modalities and whatnot. And just for the sake of saying so, after everything that I've looked at, when I started really considering the patches, I went, wait a minute. All I got to do is take a shower, put a patch on, and go about my business. And then I did a deep dive since January until now. I've listened to probably 125 testimonies, good and bad. The good by far more. And so I went, well, let me try this. And I've been wearing the patches now for 2 months January, February, March, April, 2 months. And the very first thing I've noticed now is I've got hair growing back on my head. I don't know anything else that's going on, but I wasn't fighting any kind of terminal situation. In fact, I asked my doctor, I said, what comes after stage 4? And he said death. And I went, oh, this is serious. So anyway, I decided to do the patches, and I've listened to several testimonies of personal friends of mine that are wearing the patches, and I went, okay, I'm there. And of course, Cammie Brechto told me about you, so I was eager to have you come on because of the big, the situation that you were dealing with. But anyway, that's enough about me. I've survived.
And we made it, didn't we?
Well, this happened. I was diagnosed in 2010, the end of 2010, had surgery the beginning of January. They kind of rushed me through.
Yeah.
But I also had a brain aneurysm in 1998 where they said that they thought I was going to be a vegetable or have neurological issues. I came out of that. Here I am. The only thing that I've suffered is my voice is a little different than it was when I was growing up. But anyway, that's my story. And everybody who knows me knows that story.
I don't know that much about you, Jeff, but I will tell you based on your stories, I would say God has big plans for you.
Well, so far it's been since 2007, I live with expectation. And to be very honest, the more you can help people, that's kind of, if I got 20 years left or 10 minutes left, I'm going to be helping somebody, and particularly to get away from how we've been indoctrinated into things that are really bad for us. So that's kind of my life goal at this point in time. And I'm a big believer in the God of the Bible. So
I will tell you to be in remission from what fast growing cells in the throat, like you did something right. And that you got margins, and then you went natural and clean diet, and you've stayed in remission. Like that's pretty impressive, because I've met other folks that's had to do the, had to radiate on the neck, and it can be rough. So
yeah, it was very painful, they said.
Wow. I just didn't know your story until now.
Well, I didn't know yours either until a couple of days ago. So, but anyway, back to your situation. Now you got the patches.
Oh yeah. So, So then after the taste of the metal came out of my body, then by day 5, I know it was incredible. Only 2 days. Yeah. I mean, that's incredible how fast X39 works. And that it went there first. It must have known I was just so toxic, because stem cells will go to wherever you need the repairing first. Right. So if it's your heart, it will go there. Liver, if it's your bad knee. For me, I was toxic. It went right for the toxins, which is really interesting. So then day 5, my skin got soft, the collagen comes back. That's the stuff that us women like we get rid of all our health related issues, or, age related issues. And then we all look 10 years younger because our skin starts to look so good. And like your hair comes back. It's just a whole bunch of yes, nobody wants to look old. No one wants to be old inside. We want to feel young and vibrant, and we want to live. We want to have our lifespan be long, but look great and feel great. Who wouldn't want to live 100, 150, 200 years if we looked like we were 60 or 50 and we felt good? That would be awesome. So, I think
that would be interesting.
Well, I think it's happening. Everything's changing. And I mean, David Schmidt is creating technologies that increase our lifeline. That's just what's going on. And so it's exciting. But okay, so I'm rambling. I'm all over the place because I'm so excited to talk to you today, Jeff. So the last thing that happened was on day 10, I just felt young again. I felt 20. I felt like I had purpose and passion. And I came into X39 feeling depressed and sad and like I had no hope. And in 10 days, I didn't even care. I still had a reoccurrence. I'm like, oh, well, I'll just take care of it. And you know what I did? I did the second time what you did. I just cut it out and got margins. And then I was on the technology and there you have it. So I called Dr. Rhonda 6 years ago. And I said, Dr. Rhonda, I don't know what you just did to me, but I think you saved my life. And I want to share it with the world. Do you? And she said, yeah. So we made a list and we started sharing it with everyone we knew. And then we taught them to share it with everyone they knew. And all of a sudden, 6 years later, we have helped 150,000 people change their lives, heal themselves. And I'm really proud of that. And I've been in remission again for 5 years, just like you. I mean, not as long as you, but I'm working on it. I want to be you, Jeff.
I prefer to say I don't have cancer and I'm not even in remission.
I love that. I need, you know what? I'm still nervous to say that. I'm still scared to say that. I'm just being honest. So what do you say? Maybe I need to mimic you. Say it.
I just simply say I don't have no cancer. It's not coming back. I'm going to go on with my life.
I don't have cancer anymore. It's not coming back. I'm going on with my life. Okay, that sounds good.
I've been saying that for 6 years now.
I like that. I need to put a little something else in there. So anyway, that is what happened. And maybe what you want to see next, you have some other pictures. Should we show some of the other pictures?
Let me put these on here because.
And we already showed that. This is you, Jeff.
No, this is like me. But he's not the only person that I've talked to who's had their hair grow back. Dr. John Harmon, not only did it grow back, but it went to its natural color. So
I know. And let's look at this real quick for folks. You see how it's bald in the back and it's gray? And look at his eyebrow. It's gray. Now, as you see, it's growing back black. He doesn't have the bald spot. But what I think is interesting, Jeff, is look at how his eyebrow went black. I think we can all agree this man is 70. He's in his 70s. There is not a man in his 70s that gets a black eyebrow again if their stem cells are not regenerated. I've never seen it. Have you?
You know, it's making me want to go look at my eyebrows. To be honest with you.
I bet they're black.
Well, my eyebrows they were turning gray, and I never thought to go look at them. So I'll go do that after the podcast.
Okay, and you need to take a picture of them and text them to me. I want to see them.
Yeah, no, you just freaked me out. I didn't think about that. Go ahead.
Okay, let's look at the next slide. You never thought you'd have so much fun with me today, did you? Okay.
Yeah. Now this one here, I have a lot of people that are kind of lit up on this here picture. Tell us about this one.
So this is, and once again, I do not cure, diagnose, treat any disease. I'm just talking about a picture. And this is a picture about nerves. And what happens, this is in the C7, the neck. This happens in the L5, the lower back. And what happens when the nerve gets pinched, it doesn't feed the muscle. Another name for that is like neuropathy or stenosis. You might have heard those words. That's what it really means. Your nerve is crunched. And what happens in the C7, it gives you neck pain, shoulder pain, all the way down your arm and your hand gets numb. In the L5, that's the lower back, right at the L5, right at the very lower part of your back on your spinal cord, right? Your spine is your nerves, of course. And when that gets pinched, then your glutes hurt down to your calves, all the way down to your shins, all the way down to the bottom of your feet. And that gets numb or neuropathy. And so nerve pain, about 50% of the folks that have pain have nerve pain. And so what's interesting is that this X39, you can see how the picture opens up the nerve. And now you don't have all the numbness and all the pain because your nerves are flowing right. We do so good with nerve pain. We really open up, really any pain of any kind, we do really great with. So yes, did that make sense how I answered that? Do you see the difference between the nerves there?
Well, absolutely. And I had a friend today. She came on board as a distributor, brand partner, and this is the very issue that she was talking about with a family member. And so this was very interesting. And also, I've listened to several other people who had this kind of nerve issue, and now they don't. So
let me ask you, does her nerve issue from her lower back or from her neck? Does it go down her arm or down her leg?
It's actually not her. It's her husband. And he has a nerve issue in one of his feet, bottom of his feet.
Yeah, so usually on the bottom of the feet, it starts with the L5 because it's the pinched nerve in the L5 that's taking the road of the nerve pain down to the bottom of the feet. So something you might want to do, what I like for a patching is do X39 right on the L5, and then you take Eon, which reduces inflammation down the road of the neuropathy. So if he hurts anymore, like usually it hurts down the leg. So if he hurts in his glute or in his calf or in his shin, you know what I mean? I always forget what that is called, the quad. Sorry, I should know my body parts, but whatever. And then all the way down, and you can wear 2 Eons, an Eon under the foot. And then you want to do ice wave wherever he hurts, because ice wave will not only be fast pain relief. You put the brown patch where it hurts the most, the white patch about 3 inches away, and it will charge out the pain, much like you charge a car battery. And it will take pain from a 10 to a 3 in about 30 minutes. And it also balances the nervous system. So a lot of people that have nervy feet, they'll put an Eon on the bottom of the feet, and they'll put a white patch on the bottom of the foot and the brown patch on the white on the right side of the foot and the tan on the left. So you kind of on your foot have like ice wave and Eon, and then an X39 on the L5. And if he has what I like to call the road to neuropathy, which is down, he probably does if you ask him, down the L5, down the leg, all the way down to the bottom of the feet, you could put an Eon and an ice wave there. A lot of people with neuropathy do 1 X39 only. That's all you need. But they'll double patch Eon and ice wave. And that just takes care of it.
Well, it's interesting, too, because another friend of mine, she had debilitating pain in her back. She couldn't really move. So I saw her at our congregation, and then I went and took her the patches. I drove to her house, and I got her the patches, and I said, listen, I want you to try these. I gave her 2 days worth of ice wave.
Oh, yeah.
And then I didn't hear from her. I couldn't get her on the phone. Well, I saw her yesterday, and I made a video of her.
Yep.
Because she told me, she said she hasn't had the pain that she had, but she said by probably 30 to 40 minutes, she said the pain was like smothered, was her exact words. And
I love that. He smothered it out. That is quite an you can see that.
I actually have her, I posted her on the Facebook page, a little short video, but she was like blown away. And she's someone who she's an incredible person for life, but she doesn't have a lot, you know, she doesn't have an abundance. However, her testimony was this, it was amazing. And she hadn't had the same kind of pain for the balance of the week. And I saw her yesterday. So that was another testimony about ice wave. I think I gave her the ice wave. I think I gave her ice wave and I think it was X39, but I can't remember. Anyway, those are a couple of testimonies that I personally have dealt with.
I love it. And you know what I love to show, if we can stop for a minute, share screen, and I'll show you something that I like to do with people that I love. And it's called Pop the Spot with a Lot. And I give them a little envelope like this. And in the envelope, it explains how light works, and it has the patent. And then it has these great, you have one. It has these great little parts. Yeah. And it kind of tells you here the different patches and then a little price list. But what's great is when you use that, what I put in there is a pop, which is 1 set of ice wave, right? Ice wave. And you know the difference because they say it here. 1 Eon, which reduces inflammation, and 1 X39 for pain. So what I'll do with someone is I'll just say, where's your pain? And let's say they say, oh, my pain's right here in my shoulder. I'll put the brown patch of ice wave wherever it hurts the most. The white patch, I'll say, where does it radiate to? And let's say they say, oh, it radiates to here. I'll put the white ice wave there. And then I'll put Eon, which reduces inflammation right in between, and X39, which gives you the stem cell repair right there. And I like to call it Pop the Spot with a Lot, because those 4, that 2 ice waves, the X39 and Eon, you'll see in 30 minutes, people are like, whoo, getting relief. So I don't care if it's the shoulder, if it's the neck, if it's the lower back, if it is the knee, you can pop those 4 patches. It's 3 patches, ice wave, Eon, and X39 right on the spot. But of course, ice wave is a 2-patch system. And I just love it because you know what? There are so many people, Jeff, that are in pain and they need that relief. I mean, that's exactly what I did with my mom today. I popped her neck with a lot, which is X39 Eon and LIFEWAVE. So where are you? Yep, go ahead.
I've got someone in the chat here. She's asking, she says, I placed the X39, and I've heard this a few times too, on C7, but she's getting a skin irritation.
Okay, so one of two things can be happening. Either she's having a detox, which is better in than out. No, better out than in, sorry. And you need to drink plenty of water. Remember, light and water work really well together. It makes a perfect circuit. But if you don't think it's a detox and you think it's a little bit of reaction to the adhesive, you can put the patch right on your clothes. We have a 3-inch radius. Or if you have an animal, put it right on the dog collar. It's a 3-inch radius. And know that you can move the patch around. So you might be getting a little detox stuff coming out. So then you might want to move it over a little bit. And for me personally, when I started 6 years ago, I was, there's quite a few other patches other than X39. And I mean, we have plenty of time after we finish X39. I'm happy to talk about some of the other patches if you want. But glutathione, it is your master antioxidant and your master detoxification pathway. It is the workhorse of the line to pull, like what I like to say, yuck out of your body, fungus, mold, virus, toxins, boom, pulls it out. And after I had chemo for a year, I didn't know this, but my gut flora was a mess. And when I started glutathione, I had all this bacteria coming out of my back. It was so gross. And I was more than freaked out. I thought there was something really wrong with me. But all I did is I just took my glutathione down from 12 hours a day to like 2 hours a day. And I just titrated myself up. So no, if you're having a detox, one of three things: drink plenty of water, take it off your skin, put it on your clothes, move it to a different place of your skin, or wear it for less time, right? And go slow. And the patches that will detox you, glutathione, and in some people, X39. Pretty much none of the other patches have a detox effect. So
good. Thank you for I didn't know about the I know you have to drink plenty of good water. I want to stress,
yes,
good water. But yeah, I slosh around now because I drink so much water. Whereas before I didn't drink a whole lot of water. But I hadn't heard that sometimes you just need to drink water because you might be detoxing. I thought it was just the adhesive. So that's a good explanation.
Yeah.
Or another thing for me to learn. Good.
Yeah. You'll be surprised. We're pretty toxic. And when we you eat clean, but you still can't help what they're throwing in the air or in the environment. Unfortunately, we are a pretty dirty world. I know that somebody asked David, should young people have glutathione? And he said 20 years ago, not necessary. Today it is, because our world is pretty toxic. So it just is what it is. So anyway, let's go back and look at more of the pictures.
Good. I'm glad you said that. Tell this lady's story, which I find remarkable.
Okay. And you may know it even better than I do. I'm going to tell what I know, and you're going to add to it for me, Jeff, because I'm going to learn from you right now. But from what I know about this is that I mean, I can't even believe, just to be honest with you, that it's the same person. Right. Need I say more? Same person. But you added, and I did not know this, that she was in an assisted living having a whole lot of issues. And now she must have obviously, from the picture, graduated out of assisted living and has a free life again. But maybe you could tell me the story a little bit more, as you know.
I found this person's story. She's basically was kind of done.
Wow.
And then she was introduced to the X39. And I mean, it's a remarkable, I don't know her. I just read her story. And I was like, oh my God, it looks like a completely different, she looks like a person ready to give up. Yeah. And then a person who's got her life back. That's what caught my eye.
You know what I thought, and I'm sure she's married and everything, but this woman on the left, I don't really recognize, it's wow. And the woman on the right, doesn't she look like she's just newly dating? You know what I mean? She's looks like she's going out, she's dating, she's, I don't know. I look at her and I go, oh, she must be going out with her friends, having dinner. I don't know. I just saw Yes, I don't know her, but I was making up her new life in my mind. Is that crazy?
Well, let's go back to you for a minute before we go to the next slide.
Okay.
You've been doing this now for a number of years. You've helped a lot of people, over thousands. How are you doing today? I mean, you're in remission, but how? Give me a little bit more about your world today, having dealt with this horrible thing that you went through.
You know, I realized that God wasn't done with my life. I've always had a lot of purpose and passion to help others, much like you. My gift is in creating systems and tools. I am the creator of startx39now.com and start333biz.com. Those are the sites I created. And I didn't know that there was still a use for me. And when I got the second reoccurrence, I thought there wasn't any use. And instead of thinking about all the things that I had to do right in the world, I remember thinking all the things that I must have done wrong to get a second reoccurrence. I've never shared this before. And then all of a sudden, I heard God say, you know, we have use for you. It's time to get going because you have skills that other people don't have. And, you know, and we all have different skills that God gives us. And, you know, David's skill is God talks to him and he invents. He has 200 patents. I can't make a rocket engine. I can't invent this. But you know what? I'm really good at sharing. And I'm really good at teaching other people to share. And I love to create tools and systems and marketing material. I'm not really sure why. I just think it's fun. Like where most people will, like today, go out and walk in the sun because it's Sunday. I was working with my partner and we were making the Now site, startx39now.com, even better, in my opinion. And that's what's fun for me. And so what am I doing now? I'm doing that. And I'm creating this big business. And I'm not creating this big business for myself. I could care less. Like, yes, I make great money now. I went from poor and sick to rich and healthy. But I take my money and I just put it into people so that they can also become healthy and wealthy if they want to. Because I think that when God puts good people with money, we can change the world. And I don't need the money for myself. Like I don't need like another house or a boat or whatever. I just want enough money to help more people. And so that's kind of what I do. Oh, and the other cool thing, Jeff, I met all these friends. So I got a whole new crew of friends. We travel the world together now. And I'm just so happy. I'm happy.
Yeah, sounds like it. Now, we didn't talk too much about, before we go to the next slide, children, husband, all that kind of stuff. You said you were married, you got kids.
Yes, I have a husband. I have 3 children. My one son's 26. I have identical twins that are 23. Wow. And we live in Mission Viejo. We have 2 cats. And I wish that I could say the cats like me the best, but they like I'm an only female in an all-male household. And the cats like all my guys better. And when I leave, the female takes my chair. This is way too much information. And the boys in my household take a picture. And they say, Mom, Sabrina took your chair again. She wants to be the woman in the house. So my female cat likes to kick me out of the house. Do you have a cat that kicks you out of the house, Jeff?
No, I have a dog, and my wife brought him home one day. But, I want to go back to this picture because the first time I saw this picture, and then I saw 2020, then I saw 2023, and now we're 2025. It's like a whole new person.
Yeah. Well, it's not a whole new person. I went back to the person who I was. So I am the girl that was the same girl. And in 2016, I'm this girl. And then I lost her. And then I got her back.
What can you tell me about this young lady?
Oh, man. What I think is so interesting about her is look at her age spots on her face. I mean, she has so many age spots. After X39, look at her face. The age spots are gone. The only thing that I could tell you about her is that's the same woman. And it looks like grandmother and granddaughter. I mean, I'm shocked. Look at how good she looks.
She looks vibrant.
She's
that's
vibrant.
The thing.
Yeah.
The people look vibrant. I'm gonna move through these slides here real quick.
Yeah. This little boy, go ahead.
He lost the tip of his finger.
I know, he was only 8. Can you imagine? And just a little boy. His finger got cut off. It died. You can see that it's black. It died. 2 months on X39, it regenerated. It grew back. It's shocking. The doctor said it would never grow back, and it did.
Wow.
She has symptoms. I can't really say that I don't treat, diagnose, or say diseases. So this is symptoms of curvy back. I think we all know what a curvy back is. And the curvy back goes straight. And that's X39 Eon and
Ice Wave.
39. And I think actually 2 ice waves on her back.
Yeah, it is. I can see it.
Yeah.
Well,
I would put an Eon in the middle of her back for inflammation. That's the one she's missing. But what I love about that is X39 is the stem cell. Eon would reduce inflammation, and Ice Wave charges out pain, but it also really helps balance the nervous system. So I can totally see why she had the patches she had on there.
Well, as we wind down on the show, we've got about 9 minutes left. Here's what I want to add to this discussion.
Sure.
This invention, in my opinion, is miraculous. I mean, it literally is miraculous because of how it jump starts parts of our body. And then those parts of our body, according to the science, start looking for things to repair. I mean, that's just, I stopped looking for other modalities and things to try because this was so different and so amazing. And I love the fact that it's working with your own body and not adding any chemicals, pharmaceuticals, or anything to your body other than your own light. I love that too. Mind blowing.
I just want to tell you a little bit because I know we don't have that much more time, and I think it's important that we understand the man behind this. Yes. The man behind this is David Schmidt. He's the owner, inventor, and CEO of this company, and he is special. We are a private company, which means that shareholders don't tell him what to do. And all he wants to do is heal humanity. And nobody tells the man what to do, so that's what he does. And basically, he loves God. And he's been listening to God for a long time, and he's smart enough to actually do what God tells him to do. So here's the interesting piece about it all. Basically, I thought I had a picture of him, but I don't. It's okay. I can just tell him his story without the picture. So he basically was in 2004. He's so smart. Did you know he just got 200 patents to his name? That's how smart David Schmidt, owner, inventor, and CEO is. In 2004, he is working for the Navy SEALs making rocket engines. That's how smart he is. And they come to him and they say, David, we want you to make a technology that keeps our guys up at night without stimulants. And he starts with the energy enhancer. Well, this is a 2-patch system. I'm just going to tell you what it is real quick because it's amazing in its own right. You put the white on the right and the tan on the left. And what this patch does is it activates the mitochondria, the powerhouse of every cell in the body. What I love about mitochondria is when your mitochondria is working, your cells are working. When your mitochondria dims, your cells start to break down. That you and I, for example, Jeff, had low mitochondria. That's why we got what we got. What I love is that David figured out how to keep the guys up at night without stimulants using mitochondria, which is really, really good for us. So also, fun fact, women, you lose the extra 600 calories a day without doing anything because this patch turns fat into energy. But let's go back onto the story. So this patch was done in 2004, but you remember, nobody understood light yet. The doctors were not talking light, you know. Dr. Rhonda in 2018 started talking light for, you know, red light sauna and cold laser for pain and all of that. But in 2004, no one was talking light. So we didn't get it. And the company was not doing well. It was only doing 50 million a year. That is tiny. In fact, he almost went bankrupt, but he didn't. And in 2018, he was asked by the National University of Ireland to come study stem cells in animals and humans for 10 years. You have to realize that this university is renowned and pharmaceutical companies want to study with them. But they asked David, and 10 years, 70 patents later comes the X39, the patch that elevates GHK copper peptide to support health and wellness, and 10 years of stem cell research and 70 patents. later comes this. Well, here's the perfect storm. Everybody got light in 2018 because doctors were using it as a healing modality. None of us think that's weird anymore. And everybody wanted to know about stem cells because they were hearing about going to Europe and Mexico and spending $20,000 a pop for cord blood stem cells. But here's the problem. They only last 14 weeks. They're not your own DNA, and inflammation loves to eat the new stem cells. So when people realized they could activate their own stem cells for less than a cup of coffee a day, the company went crazy. We just hit $600 million. We're at 43%, and we are in the top 25 in the industry of our company is in the top 25 in our industry.
Right.
We are in momentum, and a company cannot grow that big, Jeff, if the product isn't working. And I will tell you, he's so special. He never stops inventing. He's coming out with a water machine, and I would love to, in 1 minute, tell you about this.
Yeah, no, I'm very, very familiar with it. I can't wait for it to pop up, but go ahead, please.
So here's what he did. Are you ready for this? He went and studied lobsters, and he realized that they live for 400 years or something.
Right.
And so he went and he looked at the blood, and he found 4 light codes in the blood. Then, because he loves the Bible and he's a decoder, he went to Old Testament, and he found the same 4 light codes in the Old Testament. Now he's made this machine that infuses those 4 light codes, and you drink it. It's not quite ready. It'll be ready in a couple months. And then the light codes burst inside of you. And I guess why I want to tell you about it is that the man never stops inventing technologies that give us longer life. Anyway, I just think he's amazing.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be joining. I'm going down to the convention in October.
Oh, I can't wait to meet you.
Yeah, me either. I'm looking forward to it. And I got to tell you, when I was told about you, I was like, okay, well, I'll see if I can get her on the show. I didn't realize I was going to have somebody as exuberant and full of life as you are sharing about this. And you've been doing this for a long time now. What with your own personal issues? Because you wear these daily or almost daily or
daily. I don't go any. I wear them daily or sometimes nightly. I wear some during the day and some at night.
So I see if you can speak to this real quick. We got a couple of minutes. Some people talk about the people who get no effect or they give up before they get an effect, because you probably heard a lot of that over the course of your last 6 years.
Well, I like to say don't stop short of the miracle. And what do I mean? It takes 1 month for every decade you are old to get the stem cells, the army going. And so it's going to take 6 months. And remember, it's always going to fix what you need to live first and then what you feel. We don't always feel our heart or our liver having issues. But let me tell you, your stem cells know, and it will fix your heart and your liver before it goes to your sore knee. So if you're looking at your knee to be this and that, and you really got some internal issues, it's going to fix that first. I mean, my friend Bob Campbell was a great example. He had really bad knees, but he had so many other things that were bad that he didn't even know about until he went and got his test for his heart and his liver and everything. And his knee didn't get fixed until month 7. And he always says, I am so glad I stayed on the technology, because now he can go up and down. He plays with his grandkids. He doesn't have to nap anymore. Like, his knees are fine. So just don't quit before the miracle would be my suggestion.
Well, having said that, we're just about out of time. And I really want to thank you, Marci. This has not only been interesting, I've learned a few things.
Okay.
But we've been running your website across the screen. And that is the www. Do we still say www?
I don't even know, but is it the startx39now.com?
Yeah, that's the website you created. There's a lot of information on there.
Yeah.
And I've been on your website most of the morning, except for when I had to go cut the grass. But I want to thank you for the enthusiasm and just the effervescent personality of someone who went from, where you were and the things you had to give up in order to live. And yet here you are now offering this technology to just about everybody you meet. And I'm sure you have story after story after story to share with people about how this has impacted lives. So I want to thank you very much for taking the time. I know you're down there I lived in Oregon, Portland for 30 years. All my kids are born there. I'm originally from New York. So I appreciate the fact that you took time out of being down there, helping your parents, to come on and let's talk about it. You did a great job. I'm just thrilled. I can't wait to meet you myself.
Me too.
So thank you, Marci Preble. Bless your day and have a good rest of your afternoon.
Bye-bye now.
All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody. Take us out, Carol.